You know what they say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but the same can't be said for dairy farms. In fact, dairy practices and management directly impact raw milk quality, which in turn directly impacts finished product quality, yield, and processing efficiency. Let's take a look at some of the ways that raw milk parameters are known to impact processed dairy products. Somatic cell count plays an important role in the quality, yield, and processing efficiency of a number of dairy products. Increased somatic cell count in raw milk leads to shifts in milk components. Among these changes are decreases in casein, lactose, and fat, and increases in albumin, lactoferrin, and enzymes. It's the changes in raw milk components that drive reduced yield in cheese making and reduced fermentation efficiency. That is, it takes longer for high somatic cell count milk to ferment during cheese making than low somatic cell count milk. When somatic cells break down, they release heat-stable enzymes. These enzymes continue to be active after pasteurization, even after temperatures used during ultra-high temperature pasteurization. After processing and during storage of the finished product, enzymes break down proteins and fats in cheese and other cultured dairy products and fluid milk, leading to off odors and flavors and textural defects. When consumers were asked in a recent study to compare milk and cheese made from high and low somatic cell count milk, and then determine which they would prefer to consume, an overwhelming majority chose the products made with low somatic cell count milk. This study drives home the fact that consumers can tell the difference between products made with low somatic cell and high somatic cell raw milk, and are more likely to consume products made with low somatic cells. Somatic cells aren't the only way heat-stable enzymes get into raw milk. In fact, many bacteria, especially bacteria that prefer to grow at low temperatures, the ones we call psychrophilic or psychrotolerant, produce heat-stable enzymes as well. Similar to the impact of enzymes from somatic cells, bacterial enzymes cause reduced yields, as well as flavor, odor, and texture changes in many dairy products during storage, even if the bacteria that originally produced them was killed during pasteurization. If allowed to grow to high enough levels in raw milk before pasteurization, because of high initial contamination levels, long storage times, or abusive holding temperatures, bacteria may produce a variety of off odors and flavors in the raw milk even before pasteurization, and pasteurization is not effective at eliminating these defects. Another group of raw milk bacteria that play a considerable role in processed dairy product quality are bacteria that produce spores. Spores are highly resistant, dormant structures that protect the bacteria from harmful environments. Spores are abundant in the dairy farm environment and enter raw milk primarily during milking. Because of their resistant nature, bacterial spores survive most processing hurdles, and then during storage, some are able to return to a metabolically active state, where they grow and cause flavor, odor, and texture defects in dairy products. Some types of spore-forming bacteria are able to grow at low temperatures. We call these psychrotolerant spore-forming bacteria, and they cause spoilage of fluid milk. One type of psychrotolerant spore-forming bacteria, called Bacillus stephanensis, causes milk to curdle, a defect we call sweet curdling. In some types of cheese, like Gouda and Swiss, anaerobic mesophilic spore-forming bacteria cause a defect we call late blowing. Over a period of 30 to 60 days of aging, these bacteria produce lots of hydrogen gas and smelly butyric acid inside of the cheese as the result of butyric acid fermentation. Sometimes so much gas is produced that a wheel of cheese turns into a ball of cheese. Still, other spore-forming bacteria, called thermophilic spore-forming bacteria, are very heat-resistant. Some thermophilic spores can even survive temperatures as high as 121 degrees Celsius. Since one of the key products that milk powders is made into, infant formula, requires very low levels of spores, these thermophilic spore formers are a major concern to powder processors. Finally, off odors and flavors may develop in raw milk due to the absorption of volatiles through the lungs or rumen of the cow into the bloodstream and ultimately into the milk, due to bacterial growth or chemical contamination or reactions. Common off odors and flavors include oxidized, malty, feed, weed, and foreign chemical. Like the other raw milk parameters we've discussed here, Many of these off odors and flavors do not diminish following pasteurization. In fact, some of these flavors and odors continue to grow stronger over time, leading to objectionable defects in processed dairy products. There's no doubt about it. High-quality dairy products begin on the farm. And let's not forget that in the end, the shared goal of all of us in the dairy industry is to ensure that consumers are offered the best tasting dairy products that they will want to continue enjoying throughout their lives.